Joining us now, Congressman Jeff Van Drew from House Homeland Security and Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne from House Small Business. First to you, Congressman Jeff Van Drew, your response to Edwards' report.
I mean, you can have only the response that obviously it states the obvious and it's a real concern. I mean, you know, we have to look at things differently, and it's time to move forward.
To you, Congresswoman Van Duyne, to this story, a separate story. How did two men get to impersonate Homeland Security agents for over several years? One reportedly had ties to Pakistani intelligence and multiple visas to Iran. They've been arrested. The FBI found body armor, gas masks, sniper scopes, and equipment. One offered to buy a $2,000 assault rifle for First Lady Jill Biden's protective detail. How did this happen?
That's a great question. At this point, we really don't have a whole lot of information other than what I've read in a few very scant news sources, but we don't have a whole lot of information. We know that there's two men who've been impersonating for years federal agents. They have had all sorts of equipment that they've gotten illegally through sources that we don't know yet. I mean, questions are, where are they from? How have they been able to do this? How long have they been able to do this? Have they ever had any kind of questioning before? Have they ever been brought in? Do they have any, police reports on them before? Has there been any information that was provided through potentially social media? And do our intelligence agents know who they are? I think those are all questions that have been brought up. Today, it's a fairly glaring error in our intelligence community that these people were able to exist right under our noses in D.C. for
scary.
So long.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like chaos, Congressman Van Drew, to Congresswoman, the Congresswoman's point. There's that going on, right? It just feels like there's D.C. chaos, and voters don't want to feel that, Congressman. I mean, go ahead.
It is what we have seen with security in general. We were wrong in Afghanistan. We were wrong. They told us that it was only going to take a couple days for Russia to take over Ukraine. I mean, almost all of the top brass have been wrong on a great deal of what we're hearing. Now we have one of our most important intelligence agencies. How can that ever happen? You wouldn't even expect that to happen in a local police force. Yeah. It is chaos.
And, you know, here's the other thing that's happening. Social media is now criticizing former President Obama for, quote, self-serving revisionism. Obama claiming he was tough on Russia. Obama's former DNI Congresswoman James Clapper says, well, you know what? We should have been tougher on Russia, but it wasn't in 2014 when Russia invaded and annexed Crimea. So there's that going on, right?
No, well, absolutely. I mean, again, there's a lot of revisionist history that we have heard. And, you know, you hear what's happening with James Clapper talking about how we should have been much more stringent and identified exactly what was happening. I mean, the Obama administration, now President Biden, then Vice President Biden, had access to these intelligence reports. He should have known a lot earlier what was happening. I mean, you had even Mitt Romney, who was out, with red flags saying we need to be careful about this. And what did you see? You saw the New York Times, you saw the Atlantic, you saw CNN, you saw even Obama himself criticizing Mitt Romney for saying what's happening in Russia, they are not our friends. They are one of our #1 enemies. And now you're seeing that all play out. We had all of the red flags leading up until the invasion in Ukraine. And unfortunately, the Obama administration did nothing about it.
There's this, too. Moving on to this, President Biden again made an unproven and misleading claim that he traveled 17,000 miles with China's Xi Jinping. But then he fact-checks himself in real time. Watch this.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping, traveling with him. That's traveled 17,000 miles when I was vice president. I don't know that for a fact.
Okay, I don't know that for a fact. You know, Congressman Van Drew, the White House staffers are now berating Politico for not touting, quote, historic wins by Biden. Nearly 3/4 of U.S. voters out there say the economy is on a wrong track. That's from a new survey from Fannie Mae. So, you know, when they see the rhetoric and the bad messaging coming out of the White House, again, it just feels like who is in control? So who is in control at the White House?
Well, there's certainly people behind the scenes that we don't see. I know who is not in control is the President of the United States. As I've said before, I will say again, he needs a cognitive test. We need to do something. He really should step down. He is not in control at all. But what's even worse...
Wait, you're asking him to step down?
Yes.
Why?
I have said that clearly. It is time for him to step down. He cannot handle or manage the responsibilities of the President of the United States. It is time for him to step down.
Do you agree, Congressman Van Duyne?
I definitely agree that he needs to have a cognitive test. The question is if Biden's no longer the president, who do you have next? You've got Kamala Harris. Is that an upgrade? I would argue no. And then if Kamala Harris decides to step aside, you've got Nancy Pelosi. At what time does the Democrat bench actually get better? And you have to go several layers. We're looking forward to November, making sure that people understand what's happening, this revisionist history, and finally, mainstream media is catching on. The rest of the U.S. sees what's happening. They see what's going on with supply chain. They see what's going on with gas, what's going on with their mortgages, what's going on with their leases. It is ridiculously expensive, and they're sick of it. The rest of the American population knows what's happening. It's about time the media, welcome to the party.
Congressman Van Drew and Van Duyne, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you.
Thanks.